Yeah. Hello, Padma. How are you? And Padma, let me tell you one thing. When we are talking about digital portfolio, it is only the shift from the manual portfolio to digital. I hope you understand. Okay. We were
Yes,
creating
yes.
things in hard copies. Now we are creating things in soft copies, right? The content
Okay.
can be, because these children are very, they are adept at creating all these things.
A very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Dr. Swati Gupta, Head COE Noida, and on behalf of all my team, I welcome you all on this occasion where we are conducting an awareness workshop. I welcome all the participants who have joined us through Gmeet and watching us live on YouTube. So there are a few hygiene checks that needs to be followed. Please keep your mics muted. For any suggestions or queries, please paste it on the chat box. And for before leaving, make sure that we are floating an attendance come registration feedback form. You please make sure that you fill it up and then leave the session. It is indeed a great moment for all of us when we have joined together to learn more about a sector which is so vibrant and so economically viable, that is textiles, apparel, and fashion studies. With this opportunity, I also like to welcome my seniors from CBSE. I welcome Dr. Biswajit Saha, Director SENT from CBSE. I welcome Mr. R.P. Singh, who is Joint Secretary CBSE Skill Education. I welcome Dr. Swapna Mishra, Director at CNT Textile Skill Sector Council, Dr. Vijay Yadav, Director Operations Textile SSC, Dr. Rupak Vashisht, CEO Apparel SSC, Mr. Ashish Srivastav, Additional Director Apparel SSC, Ms. Gagandeep Kohli, PGT Fashion Studies, DAV Gurgaon. Now I would welcome RP sir to please say a few words and then we will start with the session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Swati. I hope I'm audible. Okay. A very good morning to all the participants, Dr. Rupak and other members from the Sector Skill Council. And welcome to this program, which is an awareness program we are having for the first time for the sectors of apparel and textile and fashion designing. And as we were having a session last week with the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council, and it was discussed that this is one of the very necessary skills that a person needs to have. Whether the person wants to go for a vocation or an employment or wants to become an entrepreneur. But more importantly, the person needs to have a skill for one's own understanding and for one's own grooming also. Similarly, this sector also has three courses with us: apparel, textile design, and fashion studies. And these three are one of the very important courses in one's own life. Whether one wants to take it up as a career or one wants to go into academics and do more studies on this, or one would like to become an entrepreneur and have his or her own setup. But more importantly, this is the demand of every person. One should know how to dress well, one should know what one is dressing, one should know what kind of textile and apparel sector has in store for everyone. So this is one of the skills, necessary skills of today, and what COVID has taught us, that we need to have a lot of skills along with academics, because during COVID what we learned, that if we know to take care of ourselves, if we know how to dress well, if we know to understand what our body requires and what are the skills that we need to survive in today's world, and develop those skills very early in our life, then no matter what comes, we will be better placed to face whatever comes in our life next. So, along with academics, vocational skills or life skills is a very important thing that is going to be part of our school going curriculum, a student's curriculum. NEP has also made a lot of stress that every child who is studying in middle school, that is from class 6 to 8 and going up to class 12, should be exposed to one skill or the other. More importantly, to a local skill of the area. And what better local skill of the area than the textile, than the apparel, than the fashion that is inherent in that particular state or in that particular district. India has a lot of textiles, has a lot of handicraft that are there. And CBSE has been forthcoming in introducing handicraft as a course in classes 6 to 8. It has course on textile, it has course on fashion, it has course on beauty and wellness. So that takes care of a lot of aspects of a child's personality. So when a child goes for an interview in any of the courses, in any of the subjects, no matter it goes for an interview with an IIT, for an MBA, for an MCA, to a software company, how the child dresses, how the child presents himself or herself is one of the very important traits that is looked for by an employer. So whether the child has ICT skills, whether the child has green skills, so employability skills are also an inherent component of all these skill courses. But they contribute to 10% of the skill courses, baki 90% is contributed by the subject. And that subject, if a subject is like beauty wellness or from the fashion industry, so then the child has a well-groomed personality. So we look forward to an awareness session. We look forward to hearing from the experts from the Sector Skill Council, and we look forward to having a lot of schools on board for these courses. I welcome all the principals and the teachers of the school for this program, and would like to thank Swati, Head Center of Excellence COE Noida, for arranging a session like this. And thanks to the members from Sector Skill Council also for agreeing to conduct this program. I welcome all and thank you for giving me the opportunity to interact with the participants. Back to you, Swati. And I'll be there in the whole session. In case you need me, I'll be there available towards the end of the session for a question answer round.
Sure, sir.
Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now I will welcome Dr. Swapna Mishra, Director, Textile Skill Sector Council, to please come online and introduce the sector to our participants. Dr. Swapna Mishra. Okay.
Skills, and we'll be very happy to introduce. In fact, I would like to just give you some information related to our sector skill council, and how basically we can actually contribute with the national just like to present a small PPT. Just a sec, please. The PPT is being loaded, please. Just wait.
Sir, in the meantime, you can speak more about apparel sector skill and what is the GDP and what is the growth going to be in the sector.
In fact, this is covered in the PPT itself, actually. So let me just start the PPT, and during the discussion, during the PPT itself, I would like to just mention over there, please. Okay. Next slide, please. It's not being shown. Ah.
In the meantime, I would like to inform all my participants that we have a live YouTube channel in with the COE Noida. It goes by the name Vocational by Center of Excellence Noida. All the vocational related videos are posted there, and you can, whenever you feel like, you can go and browse them and learn more about these sectors. With this, I would cut off because the textile skill sector has come back, please. Ashish, are we going online?
Well, I think there's some problem in my PPT. Let me just speak on this particular subject itself. I think we can remove this PPT. Basically, as I said, the apparel sector and textile sector, I mean, both are very, very vibrant sectors. In fact, if we see from the apparel side, it's a total 55 billion US dollar market. 55 billion US dollars. And apparels, out of that, if we see domestic side, we have around 35 billion US dollars. And export side is 20 billion US dollars. So together it's around 55 billion US dollars. And out of, if we further, just for knowledge sake, out of 20 billion US dollars, around 15 billion US dollars is the export of apparel, and 5 billion US dollars is the export of made-ups and home furnishing. So we represent, as far as our council is concerned, we represent apparel, made-ups, and home furnishing sectors. I mean, these are the three subsectors which we actually look after. This council was basically set up in 2013 by the Ministry of Textiles, Apparel Export Promotion Council, and the National Skills Development Corporation. So together, this three organizations made up this particular council. Now, basically, if we see the mandate of the sector skill councils are, basically setting up of the standards for teaching, standards for various job roles. So we first of all identified that there are 45 job roles in the apparel sector. In any factory, there are 45 different job roles. So our mandate is to first, this was to develop the standards for these 45 job roles. Means that what does an entrepreneur expect from a particular job role? For example, fashion designer. Now, if a person is employed in any boutique or any other organization, so what exactly is expected from that particular job role? Very, very scientifically, these standards are laid down. These are called qualification packs. For one job role, one qualification pack is there and very scientifically made. Now we have already developed the qualification packs for 45 different job roles. Now, we started in 2013 December, and since then we have been participating in the various schemes of the Government of India, basically the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. There are many other schemes of the various ministries. So we all participate in all those also. Together they are knitted under basically Skill India Mission. You have heard this word, Skill India Mission. So together we have till now, I'm very happy to announce that we have certified till now around 15. In our country, somehow we have a kind of mindset is there that if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, then only you have that white collar job. A plumber, a carpenter, or a tailor somehow are considered inferior. But the Skill India Mission has actually is now changing this perception in the country. So we are actually bringing in the educational equivalence to the skills actually. If a person we have the National Skills Qualification Framework, NSQF. Now NSQF, as per NSQF, if you pass level 1 of NSQF, you are considered equivalent to 9th standard of education stream. Likewise, 2 is equivalent to 10th, 3 is equivalent to 11th, and 4, level 4 is equivalent to 12th standard. 5, 6, and 7 are equivalent to the graduation level. 8 is equivalent to the post-graduation level. And 9 and 10, you'll be very surprised, are equivalent to PhD levels. Now, these are the ones, these are the reasons, the government wanted to bring in respect to the skills. The person who passes, let's say 5, 6 or 7 should not feel, though he might be a plumber, he might be a supervisor in any carpentry kind of organization, but if you see his respect is equivalent to the education stream. So this change the government has actually brought in through the National Skills Development, the National Skills Qualification Framework, that's called NSQF. Now, way forward, as I said, we shall be, offering, enough material from 6th standard upwards for the schools, for the people, for the kids who would be interested in going into the apparel sector courses. Now, after doing this, let's say from 6th to 12th, they'll be completing their, various levels, their various, curriculum will be covered. After that, what happens after 12th, let's say, somebody would like to actually go for self-employment or employment. So that, stream is also open. Otherwise, they can go for specialized kind of further specialization in skills itself as BVOC, Bachelor of Vocational Studies, or Master of Vocational Studies. So basically, right from 6th standard till post-graduation level, things have been, planned. And as I said, that after 12th, both the avenues are available for the, students, whether to go for employment or go for higher kind of, studies in the Bachelor of Vocational and Master of Vocational Studies. Now, what would this bring in basically to the, let's say, the school? As far as the school is concerned, the benefit of, having the sector skill councils with them would be that, first of all, this expertise would be coming to the schools directly from the industry, because we represent basically the industry. So anything which comes from the sector skill councils are basically the the will of the industry, basically how the industry feels. And so first of all, direct from the industry, these expertise would come to the schools. That's number one. Now it will be beneficial for the teachers also, because teachers who get the TOT certified, the trainings of trainer, this is an additional qualification, additional skills which the teachers can acquire. So this is a very important thing. And as far as the students are concerned, they'll also be very happy. First of all, we are trying to place before them that post 12th, what should you ultimately go for? You go for education stream, good enough. You go for technical stream or the skilling stream, we shall provide you enough material, enough help to the student. And, as I said, let's try to bring in the situation or, the circumstance, the way the Western world, operates, whereby each skill is given respect as well as the price also. So this particular thing is now coming to India, and with the help of the, as I said, NSQF, the National Skills Qualification Framework, and with the continuous push of the government, we shall be working very, very closely with the CBSE as well as the state boards. We are already working, as I said, with CBSE. We have now started, and we shall be providing enough, material, enough content, enough expertise to the schools and help to the schools so as to align themselves with the national education policy with reference to the skills. So this is what I wanted to actually bring in. I'm sorry, my PPT could not somehow operate, but I believe I was clear enough in my discussion. So I'll be, in any case, available here for any questions if the listeners would like to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rupak Vashish. It was indeed a very informative session that you took. We clearly say that after 12, a lot of students, they just are not sure which stream they need to go, but vocational generally defines their stream and give them a choice to choose their vocation before even moving out into the world where occupation is. So thank you, sir. Now we'll request Dr. Swapna Mishra ma'am to please come on the line and present us more about the Textile Sector Skill Council.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Vashish, for giving such a wonderful and very clear introduction about the skill councils. I would just share my screen if you could just confirm if that is visible.
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
Okay, so just to give a brief introduction about the Sector Skill Council, the Textile Sector Skill Council started a little after the apparel, that is in August 2014. And we have developed around 90 qualification packs which cater to 90% of the workforce employed in the industry. The scope of work is the entire gamut of the textile, from fiber to fabric to finishing. We have the major industry associations, export promotion councils, textile research associations, DC handlooms, and representatives from NSDC on our board. And the governing council has 21 industry players, which is assisted by 3 technical committees for developing the qualification packs and the study material and content. A committee for affiliation, accreditation and assessment, which tells about the protocols for affiliation and accreditations, and the industry connect and research advisory committee. Our efforts so far in the skill ecosystem have been rewarded by the ministry as well as the National Backward Class Finance Development Corporation and Northeast Development Awards. We are present in almost all the states in the country with around 76 training partners and 246 training centers in 24 assessment agencies. The subsector and cluster information, we have, spinning, weaving, processing, technical textiles in clusters. Then handloom is pan-India, power looms and loin loom. Loin loom is limited to the Northeast states. It is the second largest employer, contributing to India's GDP, industrial production, and also the exports. It is a highly capital and power and labor intensive industry. Evergreen, roti, kapda और मकान, जैसे कि Dr. Vashish ने बताया, textiles and apparel will always be, offering job opportunities. And recently, there has been a huge growth opportunity, especially due to countries shifting their manufacturing from China to the other Southeast Asian countries. The sector can be divided broadly into the organized mill sector and unorganized sector. Unorganized sector deals with handloom and the organized sector deals with the from spinning to technical textiles. These are briefly the job roles which are also available on our website, and you can have a look at the website for the details on the job roles. The possibilities are pre-vocational studies from standard 6 to 8, where we give an introduction to textiles to the students, and the vocational skill classes from 9th to 12th, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Vashish. The progression could be UGC BVoc, and we propose a system where the employment is near homes. So as I have informed earlier that there are two subsectors, one is the mill sector and then the other is handloom sector. One is a very organized sector, the other is very unorganized sector. So we have different approaches for the two sectors. Coming to the mill sector, this can be carried out only in the states where the textile mills are located. Maybe CBSE could assign liaison officers, which would bring in comfort and confidence to the industry as well as the school and students. We propose a tie-up between the schools and local textile industries, where the mobilization and introductory and theoretical training could be in schools, while the OJT and employment could be in the textile mills. As per the protocol, TSC will assess and certify the eligible candidates who may get placements in the local industry. These are the employment details. You can have, employment in the corporate mills, private sector, MSMEs. You can be self-employed or work in government organizations. Most of the cases, the jobs are rotational and shift on weekly basis. 8 hours per day, 6 days a week work routine, and they require a good physical stamina. So I would like to emphasize this before anybody gets into this job role, because as you say, if you are a civil engineer and you want to actually construct a bridge, then you have to be out there in the sun doing the hard work. Alternatively, if you do not like that, you can learn the planning part and you can plan a bridge sitting in an AC room where you can, do the planning and other people would work on it. So it depends on your liking or preferences. But if you do opt to go for the shop floor, you have to be ready that the job is a little physically taxing and it works in shifts. So we propose that the introductory and theoretical training could be at school and the practical training could be at nearby textile organizations or the industries. The training cost incurred by the schools or organizations may be reimbursed by NSDC under PMKY or any other scheme. We have spoken to a few industry associations and they have agreed to provide, pick up and drop from the schools for the kids for the OJT or the practical training. For the certified candidates, PMKY covers an insurance cover for certified candidates. This is the strategy proposed for the textile mill sector job role. For handloom sector job role, we are aware that India has many renowned handloom clusters, each famous for its own kind. And there are many people who are interested in fashion designing or exports or, taking the handlooms of India to other parts of the country or to the world. For those, this sector would be more suitable. The equipment and infrastructure can be arranged for training in school for both the theoretical and practical trainings. Mobilization and training will be done by schools. TSC will assess and certify and facilitate the connect for loans and online marketing to make the candidates self-sufficient and reach wider markets. A few initiatives TSC has done for the benefit of the weavers or people involved in this sector is that there is a technological benefit to handloom weavers. There is a software called DigiBunai, which is developed by Maiti. This is a textile computer-aided designing software, which is otherwise available at around 6 to 7 lakhs cost in the market. And the cost for training is around 70 to 80,000. TSC is facilitating the free training to candidates on this software. And once they get trained, they also get to install this software also free of cost on their systems. There is also 6 months handholding or support to the candidates. TSC has also worked for class 10 certification of handloom weavers or people from their families through National Institute of Open Schooling. In this, they have to take one language subject and any 4 subjects out of the handloom subjects, and they can be given a class 10 certification upon successful completion. Then, as Dr. Vishisht has rightly pointed out, there are opportunities in the textile or handloom weaver programs. There is also a handloom entrepreneur program for class 10 pass candidates, which is being run at Indian Institute of Handloom Technologies. This is also a 4-month program which is sponsored by Ministry of Textiles. Then we have also facilitated the international virtual exhibition in collaboration with IM Khadi to showcase Khadi and handloom products to buyers across the world, and we also handhold them for online marketing. So these are the options available for the candidates who would like to explore this particular sector for professional opportunities. That's all we have to say. For any queries, you can write to info@techskill.in, and for further information I would request you to visit our website techskill.in. That's all from our side.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for insight into Textile Sector Skill Council. We are having a lot of questions coming on the chat box, but I would like to inform the participants that we are going to take the questions at the question answer session. So you just keep on placing your questions. I'm noting it down. In the meanwhile, I would now request Ms. Gagandeep Kohli. She is the PGT Fashion Studies in DAV School in Gurgaon to come online and give her presentation and give us more insight about fashion studies. Thank you, Gagan.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Gagandeep. Already Dr. Swati has given my introduction. I'm teaching subject fashion studies from last 15 years in one of the schools of Delhi NCR. So today I would take the opportunity of this platform to extend my gratitude to the CBSE for bringing all of us together to learn from each other. So I would quickly start with the presentation so that I would be covering my all points. So just give me a minute so that we can take all the points. And Dr. Swati, I would request you to just let me know if my PPT is visible, if my presentation and my audio is there or not.
Sure. You need to first place it up. In the meantime, I would like to suggest that fashion studies is one of the most sought after courses from CBSE on this sector. And you can all please place up your questions in the chat boxes of YouTube and Gmeet so that we can place it towards for our experts to answer, which will happen after this presentation gets over. Gagan, your presentation is visible. I think you should start now. Thank you.
Yes, just 1 minute. I'm just trying to keep it on the whole screen. So just 1 second. Yeah. Okay, so let us begin. So fashion studies, I'm very happy to share this information with all of you. The subject started in the year 2005. And in this time span, it is such a wonderful statistics now that almost 195 schools all over India and abroad have already opted for this subject, and students have a wonderful response and a wonderful career options. 1 minute. Swati, 1 minute.
Sure, not an issue. In the meantime, yes, Gagan, you please take your time in setting up the presentation. In the meantime, I would again inform the participants about our YouTube channel, and also would like to request the different SSCs who are present here to send us some videos which can be helpful for the schools in setting up this course in their schools. For example, infrastructure requirement or hand holding of how to, step by step starting this course. So that the schools who are new to this area can actually get some information about this course and they can start in their schools. Besides this, I would also like to request the textiles and apparel SSCs to share some videos where the courses are already being run. This will give the other schools an opportunity to know how the courses can be, efficiently run, and what kind of infrastructure is required, and what will be the progression of the students after this handling of this course. So I would really request you to please send us some videos on that. In the meantime, I would also put up some questions because Gagan is taking little time. So there was one question for Rupak sir. Rupak sir, are you there?
Yes, please.
Sir, somebody asked what is made ups. You said it is apparel.
Okay. Right. You see, what is apparel? We all know, which is wearable apparel, which we wear, जो हम पहनते हैं. Now there's a third. Let's say first मैंने apparel बताया. The third side is home furnishing. Home furnishing, you all know, all those curtains and these sofa covers, sofa sets, and all that. That's called home furnishing. Now there's a third segment. There are cloths which we don't wear otherwise, like apron, like gloves, like rugs. I mean, these are the things basically we don't actually wear them, but the protective clothing in the sense like there are various, like you're doing X-ray and there's a specific kind of apron kind of thing is placed before you. So these are the ones which we don't actually wear otherwise, and so these are the things which come under the even the handkerchief. Yes, these are the ones which we don't wear, but they are still called apparel. Also, so what new name has been given to them is made-ups. So, and by the way, as we say, if you would have heard me in my talk, 15 billion US dollars is the exports of apparel, and 5 billion US dollars is the export for the made-ups and home furnishing. So this is also very, very important segment as far as the country is concerned. You're on mute. You're on mute, please.
Oh, thank you, sir. The second question which has come is, what is the teachers of trainers or TOT certification, and will it be provided by SSCs, and how to apply for it?
Yes, please. This is, in fact, for the skilling courses. Otherwise, for the there are, as I said, there are around 5,500 institutions which are affiliated to us for providing the skilling courses, including the universities and the institutions. So we have already provided the TOT, the trainings or trainer sessions, and certified their trainers across the country. So there's a 10 days program. In fact, this has been set up by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. There's a 10 days program which in which the trainings are imparted by the master trainers of the sector skill councils. So we have enough master trainers with us, and with the help of CBSE, we can actually chalk out the program across the country for actually going ahead with this 10 days kind of program. And after that, the person has to actually secure minimum 80% marks to actually be certified as a certified trainer. Yes, please.
That is definitely a wonderful system, sir, that you have, that people can get into SSCs and they can become master trainers. So there's one more question. People wanted to know, how is apparel and textiles different from the one that is presented by MIFT? So this is open for Swapna ma'am also. They want to know how the course currently is different from that of the NIFT, and what will be the progression once they take up this course?
Okay, let me first start with this. Now, basically, we all the sector skill councils. Now, as I say, there's with this rise of, or with the initiation of the Skill India mission. The Skill India mission, in fact, started with a different kind of approach. The industry basically, needs two kinds of persons. One who have actually undergone longer duration courses, and one which have done short-term trainings. Let's say I'm just taking an example of a sewing machine operator. A sewing machine in India, if there are around 4 crore workers working in the apparel units, out of 4 crore, you'll be surprised around 3.25 crore would be sewing machine operator. Now, these sewing machine operators are not tailors. They are not tailors. They don't know actually how to stitch the entire garment, right? So they are only sewing machine operator. That's why they are given short-term trainings. Short-term trainings are given to them. And because the industry, see, if you see any apparel factory, what do? They don't require a comprehensive tailor, right? They do require, while sampling tailor, they do require experts. However, for working, they require a sewing machine operator who should know operation of industrialized sewing machine. So basically, operation of industrialized sewing machine, there is a 270 hours of training. Along with that, we give 60 hours more for the entrepreneurship and digital kind of literacy. This is additional to the 270 hours. After that, when he goes to the factory, well, he'll be placed, either he'll be making cuffs, he'll be making collars, he'll be, putting the, various operations are there. So you don't require actually a very comprehensive kind of a tailor. Now, a comprehensive tailor, let's say a comprehensive fashion designer, those are trained and made by the institutions which conduct longer duration courses. Let's say NIFT. NIFT actually makes the fashion designers, they have 4 years course, they have 3 years course, they have diploma courses. So long duration courses. Whereas we train people, we actually make people who are ready for the short-term trainings are basically organized as per the need of the industry. And as I said, every industry needs both kind of persons. However, very skilled or very highly skilled or trained, or they are actually required in lesser number. Whereas in abundance, you require people with packers, checkers, various kinds of job roles are there in the apparel industry. So that's why these short-term training courses are organized. And this is, by the way, this is not limited to apparel industry. This is limited to all sectors. Okay. I hope.
Agreed, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have made the things very distinctive for most of our view participants. Somebody has just asked what is NIFT.
If I may just add up to what Dr. Vishisht has said. So basically, the academic courses like NIFT would prepare a person who's more theoretically ready, whereas the sector skill councils would present somebody who is more skilled, more industry ready. So if I take the example of the handloom sector, for example, a fashion designer may design a dress based on their theoretical knowledge, but somebody who's actually had a, say, training on textile designing or weaving would know what thread would work, what count would work, what design would work on this, or it would not work. So practically it may not work, which we have designed theoretically. So somebody who has had a practical knowledge as well as theoretical knowledge will be able to actually do better. Therefore, it is recommended that both go hand in hand. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I will request Gagandeep to please come and present Make it brief, Gagan, please. We are
Sure.
running out of time now.
I will. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Sure, I will do that. So I'll quickly move forward. So I will be basically talking about the subject fashion study. So I had the video, but I will not be playing it now. So one thing, there were the times when we used to talk about the fashion. It was a stereotypical notion that the fashion means it involves stitching, and it used to be linked with the girls only. But I would say CBSE has wonderfully framed curriculum catering to both girls and boys. In fact, I have visited so many schools, and there I have seen that there are equal number of boys and girls opting for the subject fashion studies. And to support this statement, I would really want to go through the list of the Indian fashion designers, and from there I would just like to take two of the renowned designers, and I think we all are very familiar with the names Sabyasachi Mukherjee and Ritu Kumar. So Sabyasachi Mukherjee, if we talk about, he belongs to a very simple family, and he has seen a lot of financial constraints. And as all Indian families and parents, his parents also wanted him to become an engineer. But since childhood, he had a bent towards the creativity, and he has become an example that men folk are no less. And how has he set an example? I'll just read out which is on the screen itself. He is the only Indian designer to be requested to showcase at Italy's indigenous fashion showcase, that was Milan Fashion Week 2004. And similarly, Ritu Kumar, I think we all know this fashion guru. She's a pioneer in the fashion field, and she has been given Padma Shri Award by the government of India. So now, the schools who still have not opted for the subject fashion studies, I would really recommend that things are so accessible, they are so easy, and they have made easy by the members of the CBSE. Once we just log into the website cbseacademic.nic.in, there is a well-defined curriculum, structured ebooks, sample papers, and after reaching to this website, there is a section for the skill education. Once we click that, there is a bar which gives us the option of a home, skill education, curriculum, sample papers, old question papers. So now all the study material is conveniently available to the teachers, to the students. That makes one more reason to opt for the subject. Another thing, as we all know, that fashion is dynamic and ever changing. So CBSE does not leave any stone unturned. Every year curriculum review is being done by inviting the experienced teachers, professionals, professors, so that if there is any change in the fashion industry, that change comes in the book as well, so that students are updated time to time. Every year sample question papers along with the marking key and the answer key are framed, so that children know that what type of answers are expected from them. And teacher training programs are regularly conducted for upgradation of the knowledge of the teachers as well. So now if we directly come to the subject, for both class 11th and till 12th, the weightage of the subject is 100 marks, and it is further divided into 70 and 30. 70 is for the theory, 30 is for the practical. Theory is further divided into employability skills and subject specific skills, and I think we have already talked about, and thanks to the resource persons, they have really put so much of light on the employability skills. That is the reason that 4 years back CBSE has added this employability section along with the subject specific skill. Here I'll just give a small example. I may have a lot of knowledge about the fabrics, embroideries, printing, weaving, but if I lack the communication skill, I'm unable to deliver my information to my clients, to my students. Supposedly, I have a design studio, I think beautifully, I invite customers, but if I don't deliver their products on time because I lack time management, then my whole creativity is futile. That is the reason, along with the subject specific skill, we have a topic, we have a separate book for employability skills, which is also uploaded on a CBSE website. Then coming to the specific subject skills content, so class 11 syllabus is
is framed in such a way which is a foundation for a class 12. So starting from the fundamentals of the designing, we come to the we trace the history of the fashion, we talk about the menswear, women's wear, but let us remind ourselves, fashion is a subject, merely theoretical knowledge will not lead students to anywhere. That is the reason some part of the stitching is also there. Unless whatever I have in my mind, I transform it into a 3D product, again my ideas would go in vain. So for that reason, we have some part of the practical aspect also. These all other practicals are listed already on the CBSE website. I have simply copied and pasted here. Things are very convenient with the fashion studies. Similarly, for class 12th also, we have practicals from all the 4 units catering to the needs of the students and bridging the gap between the school and college. So practicals are framed in such a manner. Then we will just have a glimpse on some of the practical work done by the students. In fact, all the pictures which I have taken on my slides, I have tried. These are all the work of the student itself. I have tried my best not to take the pictures from the Google, ready-made pictures from the Google. All these activities are being done by the students in the classroom. So now, after all this, the one question which comes to our mind, and we have already spoken about it, that what are the before reaching to that, if a school opts for a fashion studies, the major and the utmost requirement is the fashion studies lab in the school. So lab has some requirement which is must. So that is sewing machines, dress forms, scissors, rulers, steam iron, long tables, so that a child can spread the sheets and fabrics, can cut the fabric conveniently. Chairs, stools, cupboards, hip cuffs, seam rippers, all pins, color medians. These are the basic things which are utmost required in a fashion studies lab to run a subject. After this, we may have a query that what are the career options after studying the designing. So I would like to say that it's a general notion. When we say designing, some of us or many of us, we limit ourselves to the fashion designing only. But it is not so. Designing is nowadays available in every arena of the life. If I talk about the coffee mug, I talk about the stationery box. So let's begin with I have just taken few of them. There is a long list that once we study design, we can enter into any part of the designing. So one is fashion designing. Again, the picture on the slide, which is showcased. This is a work done by the student only. It's not a ready-made picture. So fashion design, this is an attempt to design clothes which are functional as well as they're aesthetically appealing. Second option can be knitwear designs. So in our daily life, t-shirts, sweaters, undergarments, socks, they all are constructed with a special technique which is called knitting. So that's another area a child can do the specialization. Textile design. So this is basically the construction of the fabric, as we have already talked about it, fibers, yarns, and the surface ornamentation, the decoration of the surface. So this work is also being done by the student. Footwear design. So we should feel lucky enough that we have a special institute which deals with the graduation program in a footwear designing, and this institute is called as Footwear Design and Development Institute. This was established under the aegis of Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Communication design. So I think communication design is very clear. If we are out and looking for a washroom, we don't look for a word washroom. I think this symbol is enough to let us know. Similarly, if I'm hungry, I want to have a burger, this symbol is enough that McDonald's is around. Similarly, if I'm looking for a good internet connection, I'm looking for a Wi-Fi, so I look for this symbol. So communication design is another area which really helps and which is a lucrative job, creating a job offers these days. So I have just listed few of the areas and the list is endless: leather designing, product designing, accessory designing, jewelry designing. So fashion studies is a foundation, a subject which is offered in class 11th and 12th with a well-framed books. A student can enter into any arena of the designing. So this is was something I have quickly summed up, so which I wanted to share, and I'll conclude again with work of one of my student only. So if any queries, the queries are most welcome.
Thank you, Gagan, for your wonderful session. And we can see the child working on the sheet, which is also very exemplary. Now I will just have few round of questions which have just popped out in the chat box of YouTube. And the question starts with Sir. RP sir, if you're there, you can also join in, because it is also related to teachers. Gagan, they want to know from which class the fashion studies start.
Okay.
And so please do answer that.
Yes, yes. Fashion studies is offered after class 10. So this is for students 11th and 12th. And this can be offered with any stream, whether a child is opting science, commerce, or humanities. According to the scheme of a CBSE, it can be given with any of the streams. So even I have a students from science stream, commerce stream, humanities who have opted fashion studies.
All right. And they also want to know, can the fine art teachers be trained to become fashion study teachers?
Find out teachers means, I think, Swati, I'm not clear with the question.
Fine art.
Fine arts. Not exactly, because fashion studies basically caters with the fabric and then with the designing, as Dr. Rupak has already talked a lot about the textiles. So fashion cannot exist without the textiles. So not exactly, Dr. Swati, not exactly.
All right. So for this teaching of these courses, somebody has put it on the chat box. Do we really need to go for TOT by SSC? I think RP sir, आप इसका जवाब दीजिए.
See, if you want to teach fashion studies in the school, undergoing a teacher training program is always beneficial for the teacher also, and always beneficial for the student, so that the teacher can proceed in the right direction. Now, doing it with Sector Skill Council and CBSE is one and the same thing, because CBSE will ultimately approach the Sector Skill Council to do the studies. So, if the Sector Skill Council also has a detailed program which they are doing for all the persons who are teaching this subject, notwithstanding only CBSE teachers, then they are doing something extra. And if you want to do something extra, it's always welcome. When you're in this line, it's always welcome to gain extra knowledge, and that is not mandatory to go for SSC. But if you want to go for trainings, please go through CBSE first. CBSE will do the trainings through Sector Skill Councils as a first round, and in the subsequent rounds and for other detailed training, you can always approach the Sector Skill Councils directly.
So the teacher, sir, they also have question regarding teacher qualification for the for these courses. They are saying that BSc, MSc Home Science is good enough, or they need to go for further training.
Swati, the teacher qualification is already uploaded on the website, on the sector, on the skill education page. Let's not go into such kind of questions. It's already documented, so they can refer to that for the degrees and the qualifications which is there.
Sure. So I think we have almost completed most of the questions that have come on the chat boxes. And before we end the session, I would request sir to please say a few words. RP sir, please.
Thank you, Swati, and thank you, Gagan. Very nice sessions. Thank you, Dr. Rupak, for enlightening us about this sector. And once again, thank you to all the participants and Swati ji for arranging this session and so beautifully organizing it and managing it so well within the time frame that was given. Thank you so much and wish you all the best. Back to you, Swati.
Thank you, sir. Any parting words, Dr. Rupak?
Well, I wish that, see, the quest basically is the same with the CBSE, with the SSCs also, to actually, make this new national education policy, whatever has been mentioned in the national education policy related to skilling. So to make things smoother for the schools and together work together to achieve this target. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, Sapna Mishra, ma'am, please, if you want to say a few words.
Thank you so much for bringing us all together on a platform We've already shared our contact details. For any queries, you may please write to us.
Thank you, ma'am. Gagan, any lasting words? You need to unmute. You need to unmute.
Yeah, thank you. So my parting words would be that opting for a fashion street for any school, if they had any apprehensions, I would confidently like to say that you simply have to apply for the subject. Rest, everything, every knowledge, subject knowledge is accessible, and we all are there to support each school to spread the subject so that students can be benefited.
Thank you, Gagan. And with this, I would like to thank our panelists, Dr. Swapna Mishra ji, Dr. Vijay Yadav ji, Dr. Rupak Vashisht, Ashish Srivastava from Apparel SSC, and Gagandeep. You have been such a wonderful person. I have worked with you previously also, so you are very knowledgeable in this sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Mr. R.P. Singh sir for finding time and being present here and giving us so much of motivation that we always come with another session in a week's time. So thank you so much, sir. And with this, I would also like to thank all my participants who have joined us through YouTube Live and Gmeet. We all need to have this clarity in our mind that skills are not something for the people who are not students who are not doing well with academics. Rather, it's a life skill. So we should really incorporate that in our lives. And with this, I thank all my panelists and my participants. We will meet again very soon. Thank you so much. Namaskar.